Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my random thoughts on Thursdays. This week I am starting my own tag video. I don't know if anyone else has done this one yet, but I saw an article in Buzzfeed today, and I'm going to create a tag video about it called 15 Questions Atheists Are Sick of Answering, and I'm going to answer them. Alright, so this is based off of a Buzzfeed article that I saw today, and I'll put a link below if you want to see it for yourself. But, starting off, I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as I can, knowing my penchant for rambling. Number one question that folks ask atheists. Why do atheists hate God? We don't hate God. Why would we hate something we don't believe in the first place? It's, just... As a quick definition, atheism means basically the lack of belief in a god, or the theory that there is no god, etc. But basically, we just don't believe that there's a god. If you're thinking about someone who hates a god, that means that first of all they have to believe in the god to hate them, and that is called mesotheism. Mesotheists hate God, not atheists. So stop mixing that up, please. Number two, why do atheists constantly bash God, but they never say anything about Satan? Well, it's probably because we don't believe in Satan either. The whole premise of being an atheist is that we don't believe in anything supernatural. So we don't believe in gods, or devils, or demons, or ghosts, or unicorns, or anything like that. Okay, so anything that is supernatural, we generally don't believe in. It has to be explainable by science for us to believe it. Alright, number three, question that we always get. Atheists, how did the universe start? To be perfectly honest, not all atheists are scientists. And the bottom line, the answer basically is, well, we don't know, but there are a lot of theories out there. There are scientists out there that are working on that. We've got Big Bang Theory as the most prevailing one, and we have a lot of evidence to support it. Exactly what caused the Big Bang is the big question. No one has been able to answer that yet. And to be perfectly honest, most atheists, well, we're not all scientists, like I said, so we don't know. Okay, number four, atheists. If God didn't make the universe, who did? Why does it have to be a who? Why does there have to be a who there? Why can't it be a what? What created it, or what caused it to come into existence in the first place? And that again is a scientific question. And again, I'm not a scientist. I read a lot of stuff about science, but I have not gone out and tested and measured that kind of thing. There's a big theory right now about the fact that there are probably multiple universes, and universes are probably sprouting up and dying all the time. Exactly how that whole process works, we don't know. And with our current level of technology, we won't know. Will we ever get to a point of technology where we will be able to know? We don't know that either. We could blow ourselves to kingdom come next week. We don't know. So, alright, so number five, atheists, do you think murder is wrong? Yes, of course murder is wrong. Killing anyone out of malice or spite or premeditation is definitely a bad thing, and I don't know why you would think atheists would be okay with that. We're human just like the rest of you. Number six, how can atheists have morals? Oh, if I had a nickel for every time someone told me that because I'm an atheist I must be an immoral person, I swear I'd not have to be paying my mortgage right now. It's just, that's such a ridiculous premise that you can only have morals if you follow a religion or believe in a god or worship a god or something like that. The whole point of morality is, one, to understand that there is right and wrong, and to choose to do the right thing instead of the wrong thing. Going back to the question of murder. Yes, I think murder is wrong, and I have personally no intention of ever murdering anyone. It's not in my nature. I haven't murdered anyone yet. I try very hard not to murder and kill things. Yes, I'm also not a vegan, so you might consider me a murderer because I eat meat, but that's a whole other topic right there. But I think atheists can definitely be moral, because we do generally understand between right and wrong. There are immoral atheists, just there are immoral Christians. There are Christians out there who murder. There are Christians out there who rape. But they still claim that they're Christian. So, okay, so enough rambling. Number 7, atheists. Isn't it better to believe in God and be wrong than not to believe in God? And, well, how do we choose? Which God do we believe in? Because supposedly, if you're a Christian and you believe in the Muslim Allah, you're going to hell. But if you're a Muslim and you're Christian, well, then you're going to hell. And like, everyone thinks that the other religion's going to hell because you're not part of their religion. So, what if we choose the wrong one? Better not to choose any, in my opinion. Number 8. Isn't atheism a religion also? Oh, this one really bugs me because no, it's not a religion. The very definition of religion is the worship of a god or gods. We don't worship anything. Religion has nothing to do with faith. I mean, faith, you can have faith in a god without a religion. Okay? So you don't need faith for the religion. Religion is the pre-described concept of what you should do to worship the God you believe in. So you can believe in the God, but to be in an organized religion where you and a bunch of other people all agree that this is the right way to worship the God that you believe in, that's religion. Okay? Faith is just the faith of having, believing that that God exists to begin with. Okay, that's irrespective of religion entirely. Religion is just the practice of the worship of the God that you think exists. That's it. Because atheists don't have a faith in a God, and we don't have an organized way of worshiping a God, we are not a religion. Okay? Plain and simple. We don't believe in a God, so we have no faith, and we don't worship a God, so we have no religion. Boom. Number 9. Why can't atheists just let people believe what they want to believe? Well, to be perfectly honest, I'm perfectly happy with letting other people believe what they want to believe. I have no problem with you being a Christian and reading a Bible and worshiping a God and that kind of thing. Or being a Muslim or a Buddhist or whatever. Go ahead. But stop trying to shove it in my face. Stop trying to tell me that I'm wrong, that I'm immoral, that I'm a bad person for not believing in whatever you believe. And stop trying to push your religion into my government. I have a huge issue with prayer in school, with prayer in any kind of government setting where my tax dollars are paying for all the time that is being spent in that room. If it's a courtroom, if it's a city council chamber, classroom, etc., my tax dollars are paying for that. If you want your children to pray, if they want to pray silently to themselves, fine, that's okay. But public-led prayer, I'm sorry, I have a huge problem with that. 10 Commandments on the walls, 10 Commandments, these are all Christian things. I'm sorry, but, or here's one, in the courtrooms, swearing on a Bible. I suppose if you're Muslim you can swear on the Quran, but as an atheist, you're not given an option. It's a Bible or a Quran or a Torah or whatever the religious holy books are. But, do they give us a choice to swear on The Origin of Species by Darwin? I'd swear on that one. But, just stop trying to force the rest of us to follow your religion. If you stop doing that, just keep to yourselves. Stop trying to get other people to convert to your religion. That goes for you Mormons especially, and Jehovah's Witnesses, and all of you proselytizers out there. Not all religions proselytize, but I'm talking specifically to the proselytizers out there. Like, leave us the heck alone, and we will leave you alone. Simple as that. Very simple. Number 10. One nation under God. And so the premise is that the United States is not a religion, a freedom from religion. It's just freedom of religion. I've heard this argument a lot, and it's like, you know what? That didn't exist until the McCarthyism era in the 1950s, where people were insanely afraid of communism, and the communist nations were all based on atheism. They weren't a religious-led government. And so people were like, oh no, atheist communism, it's evil. And so they added under God to the Pledge of Allegiance. The original Pledge of Allegiance goes like this. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was the original one. And there was actually an even earlier version than that, where they didn't even put United States of America in it. It was like, it was even more generic than that. They threw under God in there because of the whole McCarthyism era. That happened 1954. 1956 is when the U.S. dollar started having the "In God We Trust" on the dollar bills, on the money. We didn't have that before 1956. So think about that. And then another thing that has been pointed out is a Treaty of Tripoli, where it was stated by the U.S. government, as the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, as it has in itself no charter of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of, and then it's going into the religion of the country we were having a treaty with. But that's a telling statement right there, that the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion. So many far-right conservatives, to say it nicely, keep trying to say that this country was founded as a Christian nation. No, it wasn't. Most of the people were deists, not Christians. Look it up. Number 11. Atheists. Do you idolize Joseph Stalin and Mao Zedong? Do you drink water? Hitler did. That's actually on here on the Buzzfeed. I like that one. It's like, no, I don't. I happen to be a capitalist, not a fascist or a Marxist or any of that kind of stuff. I strongly believe in capitalism, and I'm libertarian. For those of you who are watching me for the first time and aren't familiar with my belief system, I'm fiscally conservative, socially liberal, but I don't believe that capitalism is an evil thing. So I look up to Ayn Rand more than I ever would Joseph Stalin. Just no thank you. Okay, number 12. Why do atheists offend us religious people, especially Catholics? I don't quite know what you mean by that. You're offended by the fact that I don't believe in your religion? Well, I apologize, but it's not going to make me become a Catholic just because you feel offended by it. Grow up. Number 13. Atheists. Why don't you have faith? Just have faith, you know? That's the whole point of God and everything. You just have to have faith. Because we want evidence. We want proof that something exists. As Carl Sagan once said, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. You know, and I like what they did here. It's like they have a picture of Darth Vader, and you know he believes in ancient religions, gives evidence of it by like using the Force and stuff. You know, hey, if that existed and you could prove it, I would believe in it. Seriously. But a lot of the claims that we're seeing or the people who are making about their religions don't see any credible proof about it. And they keep coming back to us and saying, well, you don't have any proof either. It's like, well, actually, yes, we do. I don't know why people say, like, oh yeah, you still haven't found the missing link yet. We have found so many missing links that we've practically got the entire picture put together now. Yes, there's a couple of missing bits here and there, but every year practically we're finding another missing link in the chain of evolution and everything. So people who say, well, you haven't found it yet. Yes, we have. Have you watched the news? Do you watch the Discovery Channel? Do you watch PBS? Do you watch anything related to science? Of course you don't. That's why you believe all these claims that people make. Okay, so number 14. Don't atheists rely on faith because they can't prove God doesn't exist? Well, I can't prove unicorns don't exist either. I can't prove dragons don't exist. It's, you can't prove a negative. You can have a theory about, okay, this thing exists. Like, for example, the Higgs boson particle, which a lot of people were calling the God particle. Scientists, based on their mathematical calculations, said that this particle should exist. So they had faith it existed, but they hadn't found evidence in it yet. So what do? They go out and they test, and they look for it, and they run it a whole bunch of tests. A couple of them failed. Eventually they had a successful one, and they did prove, and I think they verified that proof now, that the Higgs boson does exist as a particle. And so, so you can prove, like, if you think something exists, you can prove it. If you think something doesn't exist, there's no way to test for non-existence. So I say that the burden of proof is on people who believe in a God. Prove that he exists. Prove it. I mean, you say you have a theory saying that there is a large deity, consciousness, whatever, that created the universe, that created Earth, created us, that you pray to, that answers your prayers. Well, prove it. And not just say, well, I prayed last Tuesday for my bills to get paid, and I got a bonus in my paycheck today, so he listened to my prayer. That's not proof. That's a coincidence. Learn the difference. It has to be a testable hypothesis. You have to be able to go out there and test it, and it has to be repeatable, so that every single time, so let's say prayer, for example, every single time you pray, the prayer has to be answered. Otherwise, if it's not repeatable, then it's not testable, and therefore the whole hypothesis falls apart. So, burden of proof is on people who believe in something rather than people who don't believe in it. Number 15. I like that they added this one. Why do atheists celebrate Christmas? Well, first of all, a lot of atheists don't celebrate Christmas. Some of them will celebrate Festivus, which was made up by Jerry Seinfeld in The Seinfeld Show. Others will celebrate more pagan traditions and things. Personally, I do celebrate Christmas, and I think I've talked about this in a video before, but I come from a Germanic background. My grandmother was German. I was raised speaking German at home, and we followed a lot of Germanic traditions that go back way beyond Christianity. For example, putting up a tree and decorating it is something that ancient pagan Germanic tribes used to do. Yes, it was a religious thing still. It was still for their pagan gods and everything. But it's just sort of an ingrained tradition in our ethnic group. And I think it's kind of a fun little tradition. It's fun to have that tree up there with the little sparkly lights and everything. And it's kind of cool. The thing I don't do is I don't put a star on top of the tree, which is supposed to represent the star that led the wise men to Jesus and all that stuff. I don't do that. I just have a pretty tree with lights on it. And yeah, I make a special dinner and I exchange gifts with people that matter to me and my family. But that's something that is more of a family, it's a personal tradition that my family did since I was a kid. It was the one time of year where we all got along and there was no fighting, and there was just lots of love in the family. I know it was sort of a facade, but it made my memories of that time in my life positive, despite all the negativity in my childhood. And I hold on to that because it had so much meaning to me that my family would put aside their differences for a few weeks just to make me feel happy for part of the year. The rest of the year there was just lots of fighting. So to me that has meaning, and it has nothing to do with Christianity or Jesus or whatever. It just has to do with a family tradition and some Germanic traditions in our family that we've observed since my grandmother was a kid. So that's the only reason I celebrate. As to others, well, it's up to them, and everyone has their own reasons. Alright, so thank you so much for joining me. I hope this wasn't too long. And if you enjoy my rants and my vlogs and my opinions and things, please give them a thumbs up. If you don't, well, thumbs down, I don't care. Please share these videos if you like them. I would appreciate getting a little bit more recognition out in the YouTube world. And please, if you haven't subscribed yet, I would really appreciate a subscription. And if you're still watching, thank you. I appreciate everyone who watches my videos through to the end, because it really helps improve my people finding my videos and things. So thank you very much. And I guess until next week, take care. Bye-bye.